Okay, so this is going to be part 1 of our midterm exam review. I don't know if this will end up being 2-part or 3-part, but we'll just get through as much as we can today. Probably like the first 3 chapters, roughly. And this is hit and miss. I took these questions from your review sheet. This is not every question from your review sheet, but I think it's enough to, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically to cover what you need to know for your exam. For example, in this section for equations, you had 4 problems, right? Okay, well, I put 2 on there, but it's all just solving equations. Now, in this first one, this one looks pretty involved, doesn't it? Because I have decimals and I have variables on both sides of my equation. So this one is definitely more than just my cut and dry solving an equation. All right, so when I look at it, the first thing I want to do is get my variables on the same side of the equation. Does anybody remember what I said about which one you should move? Technically, you can move either. The smallest value, the lowest value, negative 8.1, is a lesser value, okay? And what happens when I move negative 8.1, okay, remember I've got to do the complete opposite, including the x, because I'm not solving for the x first, I'm moving it to the other side of the equation. You guys see that difference, okay? So the opposite, the complete opposite, will cancel this out. Now I can add it to the other side, all right? And if I were to just kind of as a whole over these first 6 chapters say, this has been the number 1 problem that's cost you guys the most number of points, it's integers. It's your positive and negative rules, okay? So if there's anything that I would say you guys can really work on this and sharpen it, it's knowing, okay, negative 3.6x plus 8.1x, do I subtract them? Do I add them together? What do I do? What does my rule say? What do I do to these 2? Subtract and take. They are different signs. Subtract and take. 8.1 is clearly bigger. When I subtract them, I get 4.5x. Subtract and take equals negative 17. Do you guys see how I did that? This is on your test. Okay? Yes, you have a couple that are a little easier. Okay? Just more whole numbers, 1-step and 2-step. All right? You've got that too, but you also have one that's a little more involved like this one. So that's why I wanted to make sure I reviewed this one. All right? What do we do next? You're doing it. You subtract 1 to the other side. Now, 4.5x equals, what is this, same sign or different? Same sign, so what do I do? Add and keep. Divide by 4.5. X equals negative 4.5. Negative 4.5. Okay? All right, second one. I'm assuming that hopefully we're almost done with that one. All right, let's see. Kelsey, what would I do first on the second one? Yeah, because I need to first add and subtract to the other side. So I need to add 17 to the other side. Is this same sign or different on the right side now, guys? Same sign or different? Negative 35 plus 17. Different. So subtract and take. Negative 3x equals negative 18. Divide by negative 3. Is my answer positive? Positive. Or negative? Positive. Why are you saying positive, Nick? Same sign. Not same sign. 2. Even number. 2 negatives. 2 negatives. This is a positive answer. X equals 6. All right, anybody get 6 before I did? Anybody get 6? Okay. Are you did okay on that? All right, sorry. I got to go back. There. You happy now? Yes. Okay. All right. It is negative 4. Sorry. Okay. All right. We're okay. All is right in the world now, right? Okay. We're good. All right. Okay. So now, again, I'm trying to kind of hit some of the harder ones. All right. I promise not every question on the midterm is going to be like super involved and difficult. Now, remember too, it's multiple choice. It's all multiple choice, 50 multiple choice questions. Some of them, you will have to go to your scratch paper and work out the problem so you know which answer to choose. Some of them will be terms and definitions, and you just answer them, okay, just from memory. But this one is definitely one that you're going to your scratch paper to work out, all right? Now, we see this fraction out here, and this fraction intimidates us, doesn't it? We're like, oh, we got to distribute a fraction? Are you kidding me? But do you remember what I told you about what actually is happening when I'm multiplying by a fraction? What am I doing?
Divided by 3.
I'm dividing by the denominator. When 1 is in my numerator, all I'm doing is dividing these numbers by that number in the denominator. That's all I'm doing. So now all of a sudden it doesn't look so difficult. Because what's 9 divided by 3?
-3.
Wait, why do we say -3?
Because there's a negative 1.
Because there's one negative, right? All right, so now I have negative 3x. So what's negative 1/3 times negative 12?
4.
Positive or negative? Positive, because 2 negatives, okay? So plus 4 equals 4 minus 4x. Okay, so now I've got kind of the same scenario that I just had on that first problem that I worked. I've got x's on both sides of my equation. All right, so I just want to time out right here, okay, and see who can kind of keep solving this. And of course, your answer at the end is either one solution, no solution, or infinite. Get through this next step. What do I do next?
You would add 4x to the other side.
Yes, I need to add 4x to the left side, right? I got to get my x's. That one's smaller. I don't want a negative with my x. All right, so add my x's. So I get 1x plus 4 equals 4. Now what do I do? Yep, subtract 4 to the other side. And what's my answer? X equals 0. So now this is my question to you. Is this one solution, no solution, or infinite?
No solution.
It's one solution. Absolutely, it's one solution. Here's why. My x's didn't cancel out, okay? So there's a reason I put this one in here. Because I feel like sometimes when we get x equals 0, we think, oh, 0 is no solution. No, 0 is an answer. 0 is something that I could plug back into the original problem, okay? And I could actually solve. And then it would make it true. So when would it have been? What would this term have needed to be to actually make it infinite solution? It would have been infinite solution. What would it be?
3x.
If it was positive 3x. Because now my x's cancel. So when my x's cancel out, they eliminate each other. Now I have a special answer. All right? Are we more clear on that? Okay? So x equals 0 is an answer. I had a couple questions. Why isn't it 1x? Because we know that 1 is understood. So you can either put it or not put it. Either way, it's okay. I know y'all don't trust me after the last problem, so I appreciate you asking. All right. Okay, so now we're going to review triangles. What this question on your midterm is going to say is find the measurement of each angle in the triangle. All right, so we first must solve for x, but remember, that's not my answer. I got to go back then and plug that value back in for x. All right, so let's review triangles. All right, y'all need a little starter? You need a starter? Okay, so if I need to solve, I can put this into an equation where all three angles can add together to equal what?
180.
180. Okay, so 14x plus 33x plus 13x equals 180. You see what I'm doing there? I don't know what that x is, and I know that looks kind of weird, but I know whatever x is, it will be the same in all three terms, so I can add them all together to solve for 180. I'm not solve for 180, solve for x. Okay, so 14x plus 33x plus 13x is 60. Did y'all get 60? Okay, and then when I divide 3, not 30. I said 30 last hour, and I had to go back and say 3. I don't know. I was just thinking it needed to be a bigger number than 3, but no, because why? What do I do with 3? I plug it back in. 14 times 3 is 42. 99, 39. So on your midterm, if I make 3 an option for one of your answers, is that one of the angle measurements? No, it's not. You have to go back and plug it in. All right? So if I give you these 4 choices, okay?
Miss Kendra,
These are the ones you would pick. Yes, ma'am.
I need Nicholas and Cameron, please.
Okay, and all right, we're going to keep going. Okay, so now transformations. Now, this is the part that's going to kind of deviate from your review sheet. Okay, so we're going to take a timeout from your review sheet. On the back of your review sheet, do you have a little bit of space at the bottom? Okay, I want you to do these 4 problems in that little space. You do not have to write the original problems. Okay, just take these ordered pairs and follow the directions. On the first one, we're reflecting it in the x-axis. Second one, we're rotating it. I'll just go ahead and give you the code.
Thank you.
X, Y, and the code will be on your midterm.
Thank you. To Y8.
Y negative X.
How was that common sense? I heard that like years ago.
Yeah, that's good, because
I know
next year it's
180.
going to build.
I know 180.
Hey, 180. Hey, that's, you still know one. You still know one. I'll take it. Okay, so there's your code for that one. Dilation and translation. Let's go ahead and work these problems. All right, Connor, what'd you get for the first one? Okay, nope. What is it? No, don't you flip them? -4, -6. Guys, I started recording back. You're too loud. -4, -6. So when I reflect across X, listen, whichever axis I reflect, okay, I do the opposite of the other value, but I leave the first one the same. I promise you, if you go back and watch this YouTube video, especially like the night before you're supposed to be taking this test, and you listen to that again, your chances of getting that question right go way up, okay? They go way up, all right? So please take advantage. All right, what if I rotated the ordered pair -2, -5, 90 degrees clockwise? What's my new ordered pair?
-5, 2.
-5, +2. Okay? All right, scale factor of 3. Avery, did you get that one? Yep. Okay, did anybody get it? Anybody? Deasia, did you get that one? No? Josh?
Oh man.
Oh, I want to do this one.
Yeah, tell me the answer.
I believe that the answer is -12, -18.
Yes, very good. -12, -18. Because what did he do? He took each value in the ordered pair and multiplied it by the scale factor. So if it had been 4, I would have multiplied by 4. All right, now my translation. What am I doing to my X value? Am I adding or subtracting? I'm adding. How did I know that? Because it's going right on the number line. That's positive, okay? How many do I add?
3.
I add 3. What about my Y value?
You add
Add or subtract according to this?
add.
Add or subtract, guys. If I'm going up, I add how many?
Going down 2, add 2.
Yep, very good. Okay, so what's -4 plus 3? -1. And what's -8 plus 2? -6. It's not a competition. Well, kind of. Okay. All right, transformations. Now we're going to go interior and exterior. This one shouldn't take us too long. Okay. Now this is back to your review sheet. This is one of the problems on your review sheet. Okay. Interior, exterior. All right, Connor, which one did you solve for first? I solved for Y also. What's the easy way to solve for Y?
And 45.
Yeah, just add the 2 non-adjacent angles. What's 55 plus 45? 100. So Y equals 100. No work needed. If Y is 100, there's 2 ways you can find X. X would be
80.
X would be 80, okay? Now, yeah, exactly, right? Okay, because 180 has to be the sum of these two, but 180 also has to be the sum of these, and I knew that these two were 100, so that means X had to be 80. All right, so hopefully this is one of the, we call them like the give me problems on your test, all right? Now, this one gets a little more complicated because is my sum still 180?
No.
Let's go back to that question you just asked, Cam, a few minutes ago. Okay? When I start increasing my polygon sides, 4-sided, 5-sided, 6-sided, do they all have the same sum? No. So there is a way, if I don't have it memorized, there is a way that I could figure out what they're supposed to equal. Does anybody remember the formula, Connor?
Isn't it S equals n minus 2 times 180?
Yes, and n is the number of sides. So how many sides are here?
4.
4 minus 2 times 180. Or did anybody have that memorized by chance? 3, 6, or I just said the answer. 4-sided figure, what's my sum? 360. Does anybody remember the sum of a 5-sided? That's the one that we did a lot.
490.
5, 4, yeah.
Long-term memory right there. What's the last time we said that? Like 2 months ago?
Yeah.
And he remembered 5, 4. He's like, where did that answer come from? I don't even know. That's what we were just talking about. Okay, anybody remember 6-sided? Anybody remember?
Wait, it's 6.
720.
Yeah.
What about a 7-sided? 900. All right, you know it. Okay, now if you don't remember, if you don't have it memorized, just use your formula. Okay, so I know it equals 360. I know x plus, well, how do I know this number here?
Because you add all of.
You have to add all the.
Yeah, you got to add all these together. Okay, and when you add them all together, all right, and then solve. I'll just give you another minute to finish solving this one. X plus 275, subtract it. X equals 85 degrees. 85, everybody agree? Okay.
I didn't put the degrees on.
Well, you should. What if I did do that? I don't think I did on the midterm, but what if one of the answers was 85, the other one was 85 degrees? Would you pick the one with the degree sign? I don't think I did
If
that.
I'm not paying attention, I'm gonna put the 85.
Yeah, I know. Pay attention. Okay, are the triangles similar? Remember what we learned in class, okay? So it said no matter how big or small the triangles are, if they're similar, their angle measures will all be the same. So what I need to do is prove that two pairs are the same measure. As long as I prove 2, I know the third one is automatic. Okay? So when I first look at these guys, it's not going to be just a giveaway. Okay? And what I mean by that is I see that I have one pair, right? My 52s. But can I pair up 44 and 84? No. But what if y is 44? And what if x is 84? Then they're similar. What's the only way I'm going to find out?
Solve.
I got to solve for one of them. You can solve for x or you can solve for y. It doesn't matter. Go ahead and do it.
Can I give
Okay?
you the answer?
Isn't it y?
Not yet.
I'm saying when like
Isn't
press
it
play.
Yeah,
Isn't it
when I press
y
play.
equals some?
Well, you just have to solve. You've got to just solve for. So add them all together. Subtract from
But
180.
you can choose one you want to add, right?
You can choose whichever one, x or y.
I got it.
All right. So here we go. I did.
You were airbrushed.
Nick, which one did you solve for, x or y?
I saw it for a while.
You solved for y? Okay, very good. I solved for x. Who else solved for y? Anybody? No hands go. Okay, so when you solved for y, Nick, what did you get for y?
I got 136, and then I did 180 minus 136 equals 44.
Ooh, okay.
It equals.
So he found that one. He said these two are 44. This is 52. So because those are similar and this one's 84, that means this one has to be 84 because they're both 180. So he found they were similar. He said y equals 44. That's perfect. Okay, now I'm going to kind of backtrack and I'm going to do x. What if I had solved for x instead? Well, when I subtract 96, because 44 plus 52 is 96, x equals 84, which now matches up with this one, which means that y is going to have to be 44, just like Nick found. All three angles are the same measurement. So I'm good to go. But my answer is yes. My answer is yes. Okay, don't forget that part. So you actually are answering a question there. All right, so now this information starts looking a little fresher, right? We're through this stuff from first quarter that's kind of a little more distant in our memories. And now we're getting into some things that are familiar, okay? So it says here to graph the linear equation using x and y intercepts. Theoretically, you could use any method and still get the same line. Why did I say x and y intercepts? Because I actually did choose probably, in my opinion at least, the easiest method for graphing.
Oh, don't you can't you don't you have to put x over here and then y and then
Yes.
cross out the y? And
Right? Okay, so if I do my x and y intercepts, he's saying I need to write it again. Negative 2x minus 4y equals 8. So now on the first one I can solve for what?
y, x,
X, and on the second one I can solve for?
y.
All right, y. Go ahead and do that.
Wait, what?
So if I'm solving for x, did you plug in 0 for y? Which means it canceled. So then when I divide by negative 2, x equals negative 4. But in order to get negative 4, what did I plug in for y?
2.
No, what did I plug in for y up there? 0. 0. Okay, so one of them has to be 0, right? Okay, now on the second one, if I'm solving for y, what do I plug in for x? 0. So now I can focus on y and divide by negative 4, and y equals negative 2. Can anybody tell me that ordered pair?
Negative 4, 2.
1, 2.
0, negative 2. Why is 0 getting plugged in for x? Because that's what I plugged in to get x to eliminate so I could solve for y. Now you go back into the graph and you plot these 2 points. Negative 4 up 0 and 0 down 2. And you draw your line. You guys remembering this? Okay. Might have time for one more. Writing equations, okay? Now, if you remember with writing equations, does it matter which ordered pair you pick from the table?
No.
That's kind of a trick question because the answer is
Miss
yes.
Kennedy, can I have Cameron when the bell rings?
Okay, it doesn't matter which one you pick as far as I could pick the first one and the third one, or the first one and the fourth one, or the first one and the second one, as long as it goes in that order. If I pick the third one and then the first one, my slope is going to be wrong, okay? So I just like picking the first 2 ordered pairs, so that's the ones I'm going to pick. Negative 5, negative 12, and 0, 3. What does it say? Write the equation of the line. So what is the equation formula? Can anybody tell me?
Y equals mx.
Yes, y equals mx plus b. Out of everything that you've learned in the first semester, if I were to say this is number 1 most important, it's y equals mx plus b. That's like all we've been talking about since October, it feels like, right? It's just kind of building out these concepts around that formula. All right, how do I find m with ordered pairs?
You gotta do y1.
Yes, y2. M equals, what's my y2? 3 minus what, guys?
Minus negative 12.
Negative 12
So it's positive.
over 0 minus negative 5. All right, I'm going to pause here for a minute. I want you to finish writing your equation. What happens to my double negatives?
They turn positive.
Yep. So now it's 15 over 5, but is that what I plug in? No. It reduces to 3. So now my equation, can anybody raise your hand and tell me the equation?
Yes, ma'am.
So this half is divided, this half. What about this half? Anybody over here?
Nope.
Anybody over here? All right, Michael, what is it?
Alright, it's y equals 3x plus 3.
3x plus 3. Do you guys agree? Wait a second, where'd the plus 3 come from?
Because it's positive.
Because
Whoa.
the 3 is the one that's with the 0.
Yes, it's with the 0. So that means on the graph, I go over 0, up 3. That's where the line passes the y-axis. 3x plus 3. Are y'all going to get this?
Yes.
Okay, because you did pretty good on your past few tests, and I keep putting it on your test, okay, to hopefully keep it fresh. All right, that's it for part 1.
That's everything.